Hickok 45 here, and you know, if I had a dagger, I'd stab something. I happen to have one. Yeah. Woo! I might do some pot smoking, some bowling, and all kinds of things. Yep, that's a dagger. Might not look like a dagger, might not look too sharp, but it shoots sharp bullets. It's a PSA Dagger. Y'all been asking about it, what we think about it, and here's what I think about it. Yeah, what do I think about it? Let's shoot it a little bit more. I have shot it a fair amount. I'm gonna shoot it some more. We've got some magazines loaded up, and you know me, I have shot Glocks for a lot of years, going back into the 80s, and so you know, it's interesting to me when somebody, you know, the patents have run out, at least on the Glock Gen 3, I guess, and prior to that. And so there are some clones out there, quote unquote, and this is one of them. It's not a pure clone, not 100%, as I understand, but it's very, very close. So we'll talk about it, and you know, y'all been asking for it, so I got one, and yeah, I appreciate the so yeah, this is the PSA Dagger. So many of you have requested we take a look at, and you know what I did? I just bought it, and it is about 300 bucks. Okay, and that is what makes this firearm. I mean, it's not the only thing, but you have to admit it's one of the things that makes this distinctive, because it is basically a copy of a Glock 19 Gen 3. This is a compact model, and you know, it's patterned after the Gen 3 Glock, which is a little different, as you know, from the Gen 4. You got a different spring and some things, but you know, and it's before I shoot again, I'll just go ahead and show you that before it gets too dirty and hot. You know, you got the straight spring. Now it does have a steel guide rod. A lot of you love that. You run to the aftermarket to replace your polymer you know, recoil spring rods, you know, the first thing. Some people do. I don't. I like to stay stock pretty well, but that one is, I guess, stainless, so that should make some people happy, right? And so it looks a lot like a Glock, doesn't it? I wonder why. Yeah, look at that. And look at the frame. A little different, maybe in different colors, but it's basically, that's what you got here. And most parts are interchangeable, okay? So the grip looks a little different, a little bit of different texture, and even the slide. That might be the most distinctively different thing. I've got this is a Gen 4, but you know, one Glock looks like them all, right? But you know, your slide is a little different looking there, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Gen 5 is a little different also on a Glock, but yeah, it's a different slide, plus the color. It's stainless, as I understand, and you know, some kind of coating there, and so doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. So we have a kind of a Glock clone, and I don't know if PSA likes them be called that or not. It doesn't matter, does it? But it is more or less a clone. All right. Now you may have seen me shoot it in the Sunday morning shoot around, and you know, seemed to do fine. And I've shot it some since then. It has seemed to do fine, and we'll see what happens today. It might go crazy on me. Who knows? The biggest negative seems to be the trigger's not great. Okay, not great, but but let's shoot it some. Do I have? Yeah, I got ammo here in my pouch and everything. Let me come out of the holster. It's a little. It's about the same size. Speaking of holsters, and I'll show you on a Kydex I've got over there. This is a Stealth Gear. It's got some flexibility to it, so I'm able to use it in this Glock 19 holster or 17 holster, whatever it is. But if you have a tight fitting holster for a Glock 19 or 17, I guess, you might have some trouble. Okay, but now if it's a leather holster or if it's something with part of it being flexible, you're probably all right. But there's a little difference, just so you'll know. Oh boy, blowing that stuff. Oh, you think you're gonna lie down and hide from me? Not hardly. Yeah, sorry about that. And you think you're going to escape because you hit the gravel. Sorry, not too smart for you. Yeah, did you hear that? I admitted I claimed that I'm smarter than those targets. Okay. All right. Let's, I don't know. Let's just go across the hill, shoot something. I haven't shot a lot of long range with it. See where to hold. I think that one hit. I think on the red plate. Let's try the gong. I know I can hear it. Yeah. How about that black plate down there, that circle? Yeah. Sounds pretty good. How about that turkey up on the hill? Yeah, okay. All right. How about the barrel right here? What's he doing? Needs to be shot. Okay, just fooling around. You know, when I get something like a Glock in my hand, I have a lot of fun usually, just shooting. So, yeah, stainless slide, and it's got standard Glock cuts and everything. Sights are interchangeable, as I understand. It's just got your 3-dot system on here. You know, not exactly like a Glock comes with, but, you know, fine sights. There's not night sights. You can get night sights. There's a lot of different configurations on these. Okay, you can get a Glock 17 size. You can get, of course, with optic cuts for, you know, RMR, night sights, all that kind of thing. I thought if I got one to try out, and most of you who have recommended, you know, that we try one, you know, have mentioned, I mean, get one for $300. Why don't you try that? You know, see if it works. And that's kind of the, as I said, it's I don't know if it's the main feature, but if you have a firearm that for $300 matches this Glock 19, not that they're crazy expensive, what, $5, $5.50 or something, depending on where you buy it, but if you can get this same firearm, same reliability, essentially for, you know, $250 less or whatever the difference would be, that's interesting. Yeah, that's worth knowing. Okay, it's worth knowing. You may not want to do it, but it's worth knowing. And so you get a little bit different texture. That's a Gen 4 Glock I've got out here, so I can't really compare apples to apples. But you can see that, and plus it's a little different feel. I don't think you get different back straps or anything with it, and it's just, but it feels good. It really feels better. Yeah, it feels a little bit better than the Glock grip, I'll have to admit. It feels a little bit better. And the slide doesn't look that bad at all. So when I picked this firearm up, and again, I'm totally objective. I don't mean dogs in the fight, really. Totally objective, and John has kind of the same feeling. It feels pretty good. Yeah. I don't know how the larger one feels. That would be a good test for me, because I hate the hump on the Glock 17 on the grip. But yeah, this one feels pretty good. It looks pretty good. There's not a lot of crazy writing on the slide, you know. So I'd have to say, just first impressions are pretty strong on this firearm until you pull the trigger. Well, yeah, I mean, I've had Glocks that were that bad, maybe worse even, but it's got a lot of take up. And when you get back to the wall, you're sort of not at the wall. It sort of caves in like cardboard finally, and all that kind of thing. So if you pick it up at a gun show or a gun shop, as I've said on other firearms, you're going to think, wow, what a horrible trigger that is, you know, and everything. I don't know, when you take it out on the range, put bullets in it, you know, it maybe takes on a little bit better character. That has been the case for me with a lot of firearms. But that said, I'd rather start out with a nice, crisp trigger to begin with, you know. But anyway, I guess you could fix it up with some interchanging some parts, couldn't you? And improve it. Yeah. Yeah. How about a mag on my belt? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Combat ready. How about a 2-liter? Woo! A pretty 2-liter. I think those are pretty. How about a Buffalo? I think he's ready to be knocked over by a 9mm. Be humiliated today. Yeah, that is a humiliation. Be knocked over by, be a big buffalo, knocked over by a 9mm. Kind of humiliating for you too, huh, Mr. Ram? How about something right here close, like this guy? Oh, I wounded him. Then I put him out of his misery. Let's see if it's ambidextrous. At least for one shot, right? Okay, I've taken it apart. What do I need else to tell you about it? I'll shoot another mag, but okay, again, Gen 3. So you got the Gen 3 characteristics of it. You know, it's not an ambi slide lock release or anything, and you know, they put the serial number in the same place, a little bit different way, and you got your rail there. Yeah, it feels good. Got a pretty good undercut here. I can't think of a lot of things to really bash it about, other than the triggers is pretty bad. What I was going to show you too is the holster. Let's see, the one I've got on me, the stealth gear, is kind of flexible, and this leather one, guess what? It's flexible, so it'll fit in that just fine. It's a cross draw for a Glock 19 or 17, I guess. Now this one is a Blade Tech, and you know how Kydex is. It's a little more cut for certain guy. Yeah, see, it won't go in there at all. And I thought at first it was the width of the slide, but you know, I don't think so. I think it's the height. It's the height, I think, of the trigger guard and slide. That seems to be more of the issue to me than the width. You know, because if it was just the width, you could, I think, shove it on in there, maybe force it. Not that I want to do that and mess up my holster, because I didn't put calipers on it. I don't think it's any thicker than the Glock, and it weighs, get this, I expected it to weigh, for some reason it feels, well, it doesn't really feel heavier. It's about an ounce, almost an ounce lighter than the Glock 19. That's by my weights. And I even took the slides off and weighed the slides, and the slide on the Dagger was like 3/4 of an ounce less than the Glock 19 or something. So you're talking about 3/4 of an ounce or an ounce. A difference in weight, like 22.5 versus 23.5 or something like that. That's kind of surprised me. So I don't know why. Maybe it's just the contours of it made me think, okay, plus I had a little trouble with the holster too. Well, same old deal here. You know, there's some firearms, they're nice and they shoot sweet, but then you get to weighing them and comparing the widths, and yeah, they shoot sweet. The slide is 1/4 inch thicker than the other one. And you know, the thing weighs a ton. It's another 4 ounces, so it ought to be sweeter to shoot and have a little bit less recoil. But that's not the case here. You know, and as far as recoil and that's I can't really tell. You know, be the same with a Glock 3 Glock or a Gen 3 Glock. You know, I think versus this. This Gen 4 would be a little unfair, maybe a test, but you know, not a lot of difference here. So feels fine. Let me shoot a little bit more. Oh, let me try some hollow points. Okay, because if it won't feed hollow points, what good is it? What good is it as a defensive pistol? And let's see if these will expand. These hollow points will open up on the Cowboy. I think they expanded. Let's see if one will expand on the Gong. Yeah, I think it did. In fact, I think it flattened out. So, worked, just like it should. And they fed well, right? So you new shooters, don't pay attention to what I say. You know, obviously a hollow point is going to expand when it hits steel. Okay, do I need to harken back to my years teaching physics and give you a lecture on that? Oh, I was going to see if this will fit. No, I'll let y'all go, man. So, you know, the Glock 33 mag, cool. Or Glock 18 mag, 33 round mag, what I meant to say. There you go. Pretty nice rig, huh? All right, take a couple shots with it. Oh, I know what well, I'll do it in a minute. Let's try the ambi test again. I ran out of ammo on my other ambi test. Make sure it's... So make sure it works with either hand. So there you go, it's a pretty good display. So anyway, I can't, the trigger's a little different. It's more like a Smith & Wesson trigger if I didn't show you that. It's got the hinged thing on it. It's a little wider, and I don't know, it feels fine. The actual trigger feels fine. But as far as the operation of it, it's not all that impressive. It breaks down just like a Glock. It's like a Glock for some reason. And 300 bucks. Like I say, I just decided to go ahead and buy one just to have it around and shoot it some, test it. It's so inexpensive, like I did with the Escort shotgun. I just went ahead and bought one just to have around and shoot and see how it does. And I'll do the same with this. Prowl around and plink with it from now and again, and because it's interesting to me, and I feel like it's probably interesting to some of you all, that for $300 this could be, dare I say it, as good as a Glock. I don't know, is it? But it feels good and it looks fine, and if it functions as well, doesn't fall apart, it's a really viable option, I would say. So it's another thing I hate to, oh boy, I just love to step in it, don't I? Got to talk about this again, right? Well, when we experience, I mentioned this in the Sunday video, I think, but we experience shooters, we don't dislike or hate High Point, great company and everything, but it's one of the things we talk about, and it's kind of the part of the rationale. There are some really low-end firearms out there, especially if they're used. But this even is a new firearm. It's just a real alternative to buying something maybe you wouldn't be happy with, or that you really don't want, but you have a low budget, currently, and you need a handgun, you want a handgun, so there are some other options out there with just a little more money, like, gosh, 300 bucks. That's just 2 or 3 tanks of gas, on your pickup truck, and you got a firearm that might equal a Glock. Dare I say, maybe we need to get the SEALs, think they carry a Glock 19 now, get them to carry one of these for a few years and see how they do. So anyway, the PSA Dagger, you asked for it, and that's let's see, do I have one more bullet? And that's kind of my take on it. It shoots pretty well. Let me just take a couple more shots before I let you go while I'm doing this. See if we can get it to malfunction. Let's see if we can get that bowling pin. Bear down, put the sights on it. There we go. Yep, funny thing about a handgun, you've got to have the sights on the target when you squeeze the trigger. So yeah, the PSA Dagger is pretty cool. And obviously we always want to say for the money. Might be cool for even more money, I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight. The trigger is not very good, but it's not a bad pistol, seems like to me. It's my initial take on it. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. Really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, Be Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.